Thank you, Gina. Good afternoon, everyone. Approximately 5 years ago, I was appointed to the board of the trustees of the Glen Fire Protection District. At that time, the board determined that the organization of the Fire Protection District needed to be evaluated and updated to accommodate the current community interests. So a consultant was retained and recommendations for the reorganization was implemented. One of these changes was to bring the paramedic group and the fire department together and under one leadership. And the board retained Chief Jason Whitaker and Assistant Chief Larry Hood to pull this together as a team. And they've done an excellent job at doing that. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Assistant Chief Larry Hood to tell you about himself in the Fire Protection District.
Thank you, sir. Give you guys a little history on the fire department. I've been on this department for 25 years. I started back 97 as a firefighter volunteer. At that time, we were making $5 per call and $2 per training. Not a whole lot of funds, so it wasn't done for the money. We do it for other reasons. Unfortunately, in today's world, the volunteers are tough to come by. With that, as Jack led into, we've created a combination department. So 3 years ago, we hired our first firefighter paramedics. Fortunately for us, those were all paramedics that we already had on staff. In 2006, we started our ambulance service. That was a big change for us. We went from having one chief, no medical services, just first responders, to having our own ambulances. We weren't relying on Edwardsville, Maryville to provide those services to us. So we started taking care of our own residents, our own neighbors. That's made a big influence on how things have progressed to us today. With the combination department, we now have 9 full-time firefighter paramedics, 2 full-time chiefs, Chief Whitaker, I am deputy chief, I am the other full-time paid staff. We are looking to expand that just due to the fact of having hard times coming up with the proper amount of people. We have 36 paid on call firefighters. Their current pay staff is $17 per call, $14 per training. Call can last anywhere from 5-10 minutes to 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. So you see these volunteers, tell them thanks, because that's really what they are. They're volunteers. You get my PowerPoint up? Where is it at? Share the screen.
It's already shared. Oh, it did. Which one is it?
That's the start. This one. Sorry.
Just 1 minute. Can I just steal
Yep,
this?
you do that. What we're going to share with you here, if we can get this up on the screen, is brought a quick PowerPoint. This kind of gives the numbers and comparisons to what we've done over the last year.
Just checking, wasting time here. Hold on. How many do we have up?
You got a few of them open.
It looks like.
In 2022, our firefighters responded to 1,977 calls for service. This was a 7.6% increase over 2021, about 140 calls. Out of that, roughly 80 to 85% of those calls are medical. We don't do a lot of fire stuff anymore. It's a lot more medical. Thank you. As you can see, our medical assist calls, 1,417. Our cover assignments, 226. What this is referencing is our department went 226 times to neighboring departments to help them out. That's a lot, especially on our EMS side. We responded to 152 fire alarms, 40 motor vehicle accidents, 13 gas leaks, public assist at 13, brush fires were 13, carbon monoxide at 10, power lines down 9, water leaks at 8, and so on going down there. We actually only had 7 building fires. We spend a lot of time training for just those 7 fires. Our call by hour status here. This will kind of show you roughly where those calls are coming in time of day. Doesn't matter, that bell rings, we're coming. Your day of the week, you can see there some of your higher days. A lot of times bad weather. Fortunately, we don't get a lot of calls on bad weather days. People are smart and stay home, we hope. You guys believe that? Okay. If they're forewarned, they do stay home, which helps us quite a bit. We get a large influx the day after though. When everybody wants to get out, we're tired of being home. So holidays and stuff, they're okay. They're not bad. We're kind of boring to work. You don't do a whole lot. The volunteers, these guys sit at home. They're activated by a pager. They come flying out from their home to get to the call. They have to report to our station. Prior to us going full-time, our call response was about 6 to 8 minutes to get them to the station, then another 6 minutes to get them to your scene. Anybody here know about fire? Fire doubles in size every minute. You're 10 to 12 minutes before we get to your house. Our average response time now, we're roughly at 1 minute and 40 seconds out the door now for the first truck. We're on scene by 6 minutes on average. So we're catching those fires a lot sooner, a lot faster. We're getting those fires out. We do a lot of fire prevention. We've taken our crews and we've had them do company inspections. So we're out in your neighborhoods. We're inspecting those commercial businesses to make them safer for the residents and for the employees. We've had some backlash a little bit. It's the first year. There's over 300 businesses that had to be inspected. We've got them all inspected and we're starting back again on the first round. We're not after that to make it anything but just safer for our residents. Our guys go out and do a company inspection every single day. This gets them in those buildings and gets them familiar with the building itself. Where's your exit? How do we get out? I want to know how I'm getting in. I want to know what I'm facing inside. This gives them that opportunity to go in and see these buildings and get into them. I've been doing inspections since 2011 for Glen Carbon. That's trying to get through those 300 plus businesses by myself. Never could get it done. I never could. So it's great having the company out there every day doing this work for us. The information I just pulled up on your screen right now, like I said, our total calls responded to was 1,977 calls. Our fire apparatus response was 3,906 for those calls. Average apparatus per call was 1.9, so let's call that 2. We did a total POC, which is our paid on call responses, 5,297. Average persons on call, You can see he's kind of low. When I joined, you were fighting to get on trucks. It was first ones to the station and who could knock who off the truck to get in. Now, there's empty seats on those trucks. Simply because we don't have the volunteers. We don't have. We're promoting that. We're going out researching how can we get these guys into us? How can we increase those numbers? We've increased our span now. Edwardsville does not have volunteers or paid on call. We now incorporate, you can live in Edwardsville and still respond to us now. That's increased our numbers. We've picked up a few people from that. We've picked up your college students that are down here and interested in a fire career. We help train them. We help push them into careers. Our department has pushed, in my time, at least 8 people into full-time career departments. That's a good number for you. We do a program called Duty Day where our volunteer staff can come in and they can work a shift with us. They respond on all calls that happen during that day. We've had 1,064 of those people. They come in and work that many shifts. They're getting paid $100 per day to come in and do that shift for us. They help pull those numbers down. They help get us to that scene quicker. They help our EMS crews. On average, there's about 3 personnel in our station every day above the full-time staff. Not too bad of numbers there. Mutual aid fire provided. We went out 46 times for fire. We received it 39. Those numbers are pretty close because of automatic aid agreements. If I have a working fire, I automatically get Maryville and Edwardsville right off the bat. That same thing happens when Edwardsville has a working fire, they get us right off the bat. So that's why those numbers are pretty close. If you look at your mutual aid EMS provided, that's a big difference in those numbers there. We're having to cover a lot of different areas for the lack of personnel. Companies have ambulances, they don't have paramedics and firefighters to work them. So they're relying on their neighbors to come out and help. We're centrally located. They all know we have 2 ambulances on staff every day. They call us, we go. Same thing with Edwardsville. They get hit pretty hard on these numbers also. Training, our firefighters, 6,109 hours of training this year. 36 paid on call, 9 full-time. Came up with those 6,000 hours. They put a lot of time and effort into learning their jobs. And we really appreciate that. Members completed their OSHA training. Every year we have to complete OSHA training. 19 completed all of their training this year. If you look there on the right-hand side, those are some of the classes and certifications that these firefighters have gone out and achieved in just 2022. We hope to keep that program going and expand even further into what they're going into. Our goals coming up, we're going to establish a truck committee to replace one of our engines. An average engine is costing anywhere between $800,000 and $1.2 million. When you buy these trucks, you want it to be perfect. It never is, but we're going to get it as close as we can. We form committees, 4 or 5 guys that'll go out and research, design that truck to be what we want it to be and what works best for us. We're going to also establish a truck committee to replace one of our ambulances. Our ambulances have a 25-year expectancy. These 2 trucks that we're talking about are both up for replacement coming up in the next year. We're going to establish a community program here, CPR. CPR is a big factor going on right now. We're going to be pushing a program. We've got a relationship worked out with Sam's, Walmart, Lowe's. One other, they're locally with us. I forget which box stores. What we're going to do is go into those stores and I'm going to offer you a gift card for 5 minutes of your time. I'm going to take you to the side. We're going to teach you CPR, friends and family CPR in 5 minutes. Our goal there is to touch 1,000 people. You don't do full-blown CPR anymore. We're not doing mouth to mouth. We're doing hands-on chest compressions and as fast as you can go. I want you guys to learn that. I want you to come out and join us with these. 5 minutes of your time, I'll give you a gift card for $5 for that store. I want to touch 1,000 people to do that. On the sheet, you see a pit crew CPR being performed. That is our staff. This program was written for our staff crew. I'm just recycling it to you. Pit crew, we've increased how our staff is trained, how they do CPR. We've made it much more functional, much more faster. We're the only ones in the area doing it with Edwardsville, Maryville. So it's a new process. Our stats are tremendously higher. There's what they call ROS, where we bring person back alive. Average was about 3.5. We are up in the 60 to 70% range. We are way above what the state average is by using this pit crew. My guys today just spent 3 hours learning this. Not learning it, but rehearsing this. This is something that has to be rehearsed with the guys. So the crew spent 3 hours this morning working on this. They do that every 3 weeks. We're going to establish a community paramedicine program. What we're going to do is go out into our nursing homes. Glen Carbon has a tremendous amount of nursing homes. We have one gigantic that's under construction, 4-story nursing home right now. What we're going to do though is go out there and we're going to meet with those residents. We're going to ask, can we come into your unit? Can we look at your place and find what's causing you to trip? What's causing you to fall? What's causing you to mix up your medicines? We're going to try and help these people. Simply, some of the times it's just somebody to talk to. These people get in those nursing homes and they don't have a lot of people to talk to. Sometimes it's spending 10 minutes with them. We want to try and prevent them from getting into an ambulance. Let's see if we can solve their problems before something happens. We are also in the process of a training ground. Right next to our Station 1, we are hoping to put up a 2-story burn tower. About right around $1 million project for that. This is so our firefighters have a place to train properly and we can meet all of the NFPA codes that we're supposed to be training right there in our own house. It'll also be used by all of our surrounding departments. The closest facility that we have right now is Troy. Unfortunately for Troy, they're being forced to move their burn center, so it's out of service. It's also aged and there's a lot of repairs to be done to it. So until they get that process completed, we have to travel to Madison to get to the next closest burn. So if we have to take a truck out to Madison, that's a long time a truck's out of service. We'd like to do it in our own neighborhood. We're also moving to become paperless. Fire department generates a lot of paper. I want to get rid of that as much as we can. So we're in a process of working to get rid of those. We're establishing or working to establish a rescue task force. This task force is designed for your active shooter, active assailant. We're going to have guys set up where we're going to respond 10 firefighter paramedics. We're going to respond 6 chiefs, 6 ambulances to your scene, wherever it is in our region. And we're going to be established to set up and go in and rescue those people. It used to be, when I first started fire, if there was anything of this nature, active shooter, any of that, fire department, go stage 3 or 4 blocks away. We'll call you when it's safe. What is safe? Safe to them was when the assailant was down. They've gone through an entire building and cleared it. For just this church, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 hours. A lot of people died on the floor bleeding out because they had to wait those 3 or 4 hours. The new program that's in process now with the Rescue Task Force, they barricade the subject into a room. Our paramedics put on their bulletproof vests, they put on their helmets, they go into the hot zone. They go into a room that's being secured and they're escorted by police. And we'll start treating those patients right there on the spot. That's knocked that time frame down tremendously. It's got a lot of people saved. We're designing that team to be a county-wide team. So it will go anywhere in the county, even outside the county if needed. We're working with St. Louis and their team. So it'll be a pretty good sized team there. Our department has also agreed to take over the deployment of the Madison County Technical Rescue Trailer. That's right now being ran out of Edwardsville. Edwardsville is out of space in their station, so we're going to take it over to ours. We'll be responsible to deploy that on any technical rescue call for them. I also have 3 staff members that are on that technical rescue team. Completing pre-plans and inspections basically is what that means. We want to get 100% of them up to date. So we want to inspect and set up pre-plans for every one of our buildings. Some of our expectations of our staff and us, we want to look professional, be ready for everything. We want to take care of each other. We want to respect each other. We want everybody held accountable for what they do. We want to see efforts, whether you're there 10 minutes, or whether you're there 12, 24, 48 hours. We want to see those efforts out there. We want to see them complete all their mandatory trainings in a timely fashion. We want to see the requirements and standards met. When I joined, they were not being met. We were spending 2 hours on a Thursday night. Half of that 2 hours was talking. The other 1 hour was training. We now offer every Thursday night a 3-hour training. Every Sunday is a 3-hour training. And we offer a 2-hour training every single day of the week. That's how we meet those 6,000 training hours. We also have gone to online training. The world's going to online. We have too. So we're hoping to meet those training requirements. Any questions on anything there? Yes.
Can you give an example of a technical rescue? You mentioned that trailer. What does that mean?
Technical rescue would be anything that's above a standard firefighter's training. So a trench rescue, somebody collapsed in or caught in a trench. A high angle rescue would be somebody caught in an elevated situation and can't get themselves down. There's water rescue, somebody caught on the ice, in the water, on the water. Those are technical rescues where it requires a specialized training to go out there. The guys that have done this have gone through, some of their training is weeks, 40-hour weeks. They may do a couple weeks on those trainings, just depending on what it is. We have a team. My 3 guys are specifically trained in rope rescue. So any of your elevated rescues, they're trained to get you in, up, out, whatever they need to do. They're also trained in confined space rescue. So anything that there's only one entrance that's limited, they're trained in how to get in there and get taking care of the problem from inside out. They're also trained in collapses. So your Amazon building collapse, I have 3 guys that are trained to go do that. That's not just go pick up the concrete and move it. We have specific ways to get in without dropping more concrete, causing more problems. Any other questions? Yes,
I've heard you say 6,000 hours.
yes.
How do you train 150 weeks in a 50-week year?
It's tough to do. That's allowing them to do online training. So while they're at home, they can do those trainings. We have the 36-member staff. We have the 9-member full-time staff. We also have, which I did not tell you, we have 30 paid on or part-time staff. So we count their hours also. It's tough, but they do it. Anything else? Yes.
When does a building get, like, how many stories would be at a point where a building is too tall to, like you said, be a regular restaurant? When would a building be outside?
For Glen Carbon, we had a 3-story maximum. So 3 stories, 10 foot per story was what it was. That ordinance is still in place. However, we purchased 2 years ago a 105-foot platform. That allowed us to go up to 5 stories now. So we'll have a 5-story nursing home. Edwardsville's done the same thing. They were 3-story maximum. They now have the 5-story Met building over here.
So you can get all the way up to 5 stories from the outside?
Yes. We got to be pretty close to the building, which we don't like, but yes.
Is your only facility the one like behind Jimmy John's? That
I have 2 buildings.
2?
Yes, I have one down by the covered bridge, which is our primary station 1. And then I have station 2, which is right behind Dairy Queen.
Any other questions?
Yes.
So no appreciation responding to a call 2 years and 1 day ago. My father's passed middle of the night, but how your team handled the whole situation. He passed right there. My mom transported to the hospital. That
Thank you.
element, how you all dealt with that. So all that and on top of that. So appreciate it.
Thank you.